come down here with my bow and arrow and hang around when I was like between 9 and 12. Where we are now is probably about where the runway started. When they extended it, eventually it ran 4,000 feet through what people know now as Kroger's, Walmart, and Lowe's. Probably went down that far. I remember one time being on May Avenue, which again is not far, about a quarter mile from here. It took off and it was making a lot of racket and just so low over the houses there. It was amazing. As a kid, I'd come out and just be like a 10-year-old airport bum and just watch planes come in and out and talk to pilots. And they used to start a lot of planes by hand, and the pilot would get in the plane, he'd turn things on, and he'd make some comments. He would even say switch off, which I never understood. And another guy would stand in front of the plane, he'd actually move the prop by hand and start the engine that way. I remember on 2 occasions seeing a couple of men push like a Cessna single engine plane across East Straight Street. And then maybe a couple weeks later, I saw him pushing a plane back across this way. Right here was a taxiway. And in the photographs, you see this stretch that parallels the runway, but is closer to the hangars. The runway would have been over there, basically, maybe just the other side of the rec center. A couple of people had these old open cockpit biplanes. I knew his children, and they were my age and he gave me a ride in it a couple of times. Being able to look down on where you grew up, see the river in relationship to the town, and see the roads that you live your life on the surface, and when you get up and you get this perspective, I found it fascinating. I loved it. So it was pretty quiet, this airport, at night, although planes would land at night, and I think they did have some lights. I think back then you'd click the mic twice as you were coming in, and the lights would turn on. The pilot would click his mic twice. But mostly it was dark and quiet. And a bunch of college friends of mine and I came out here one night, probably when we were freshmen or sophomores, and we were racing around. One guy had a little MG sports car. We were racing around on the runway, just being silly, not causing any real damage. And somebody came in who we didn't know at the far end of the runway, and we saw those headlights, and we scrambled. We never got caught. It was no harm, no foul.
I do remember seeing planes landing over the town or coming in that way, but I just had no idea it was there. I remember going out there for some sort of event, some coverage, someone was landing there, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't even know the airport existed out there, and it was so close to town.
You can see the raised old railroad bed. Beyond that is the river. Maybe 100 yards behind that, beyond that's the river. But that's the bike path now.
There's different machines and instruments. I would tell them the wind speeds, what directions the winds were coming from, and if there were any other planes in the area. Very nice people that I worked with. Francis Fuller, he was the director, and he's just super nice man. I was standing where I could see. Of course, it's important for me to be able to see whether planes coming in or where they're landing, and if they're coming in the right direction and whatever. His plane landed, and I didn't know who it was, of course, and I saw the person go by the window, and I looked and I thought, that's Cliff Robinson. He's a movie star. And I didn't, that's all I did. That's all I said, because he was gone that quickly. He didn't even look over that way. He probably had no idea what was going on in that building anyway.